Check this out, guys. I messed up and I muted my audio, so we're gonna do this over.
Are you serious?
Yeah. The chat's like saying no audio. Look. We get things right eventually. All right. I'm gonna start it from the top, guys. What's going on? This is episode 6 of the Let's Talk Battlefield podcast, and I'm your host, Echo Limits. You can find me on twitch.tv/Echo Limits, and I'm not muted this time. With me today, I have Izzy.
How's it going, everybody? My name's Izzy. If you want to check me out, you can find my YouTube channel at youtube.com/IzzyGoneCrazy.
I've also got Mambo B.
Mambo_B on Twitch TV if you want to find me.
And we've got Flakfire.
Hey everyone, Flakfire, youtube.com/FlakfireGaming.
Awesome. So now that the cat's out the bag, all right. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the show. I really appreciate you guys watching live and joining in this conversation that we have every 2 weeks. And we talk about everything there is brand new about Battlefield, things we like, things we don't like. And we bring, of course, with us, 4 topics, each of us selected to talk about. So I'm going to give you guys the quick rundown what the topics are, and we're going to jump straight into it. You already know how the podcast works. First off, we're going to have Izzy with the topic that is let's talk about the DLC impressions. Of course, you know the DLC is out for premium. Will be out in a few days, in I believe 2 days, right, guys?
Yeah, 2 days.
For everyone else. So there's a lot to talk about the DLC, and that's going to be our first topic of the podcast, followed up by the topic by Mambo. It says new uses for Warbonds. Interesting. I know I have some crazy ideas. I don't know if you guys are going to like them. Next up, it's going to be a topic by me talking about CTE just unveiled one new variation per level 10 gun. And I felt like it'd be interesting to talk about what would be an added variation on top of that. Maybe we can come up with something cool. And the last one is going to be by Flak, and it's going to be thoughts on challenges to unlock new DLC guns, because all these guns have these certain challenges in them. So those are the 4 topics of the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll probably have some sort of way to timestamp that or something. And if you're watching on iTunes, I don't know, just skip around. I mean, I don't think there is a good way to do it. I think there is, but you know what? I'm a noob, so I'm just going to let that rock until we get something better going. So yeah, of course, like I said, you can follow us on iTunes and all that stuff. And if you are watching on iTunes, we would greatly appreciate if you did give us a rating, because right now we don't have a lot of ratings there, and it does help our discoverability on the podcast front. I think that's it. We can go jump into it. All right. So, Izzy, your topics first. Take it away.
All right, I'm first. I feel special. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our DLC impressions now that we've all had a good amount of time to play. I think I've logged around 40 or 50 hours into the new DLC. So I've played it a lot, actually. A little too much almost. Got a little salty there towards the ends. But overall impressions, at least for me, pretty good. I really enjoy the new DLC. I think the maps are solid. I like the new weapons. I have a few issues with Frontlines as a game mode. Personally, I love the concept, but I think the lack of a timer needs to change because I have played matches that have lasted almost 3 hours, which is way too long. Also, vehicles. I don't think there should be vehicles on Frontlines. I think it should be infantry only. Especially on maps like Sessions, you'll just have tanks on either side of the mountains just bombarding everybody trying to play the objective. And I think it kind of kills the flow of the mode. But what do you guys think? What do you think of Frontlines, the new DLC?
Yeah, I just logged off of Frontlines. I was playing it up until the podcast launched, and I got stuck in one of those 2-hour matches. I did have about 130 kills, but didn't finish the game. I had to log off to come do the podcast. So unfortunately, I think the length, yeah, like you say, could maybe put a little timer on it. Maybe put ability not to let people go too far behind your flank, behind your backside of your spawns. Maybe you could go back a little bit, but to go back maybe 2 flags is a little too far in my opinion. But I'm loving the new DLC. I really am. And I don't know. What do you think, Flack?
New DLC is great. I think it's real funny that people started figuring out that the timer doesn't work, and it's real interesting because there's like this real split crowd where half of them are like, this is the best game ever, keep it with no timer, and then you have the other people who are like, this is horrible, I just can't do this. But I think it's one of those, it's not a bug, it's an added feature kind of
Yeah,
thing.
no, they definitely meant to do it like that.
You really think
You know,
so?
I was talking to the devs at the event we went to, and they said they didn't add a timer on purpose. So it was
Wow.
definitely, it was a feature they added intentionally.
I don't know.
So is
I
there a
mean,
timer in CTE?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but the DLC in general, I really liked. I like playing Frontlines when we were at EA for that event. I mean, I really enjoyed that. I haven't had very much time to play it. I've been playing actually Mass Effect for the most time that I have, but in terms of things that I like about the DLC, I think the guns are great, and really, I think the maps are awesome. And if you guys have followed like my channel for a long time, like I was really, really critical of the fact that EA did not put France in the base game. I was like, how do you do that? Because it's very, very important. Like, like
You
so
need
much
France
of
in World War One. Yeah.
happened in France. There's no getting around it.
Right.
They suffered tremendous casualties and economic destruction and all this other stuff. And I was really critical. I was like, how do you do that? That's like having something without a soul.
So-
Once I was over that, I wanted to see, okay, what did they do with the maps in the DLC, and I think they are fantastic.
So
I mean,
if you
love
feel like
Devo and Verdun Heights in particular, but yeah, Echo.
no, so if you feel like they were missing the French in the main game, do you think once the DLC came out, did they do it justice?
Yes. And that was something I was really like, I don't know if they're going to be able to, I had my own expectations. I was like, I really don't know if they're going to be able to do what I would like to see done, basically, when you look at it that way. And I think they absolutely nailed it in terms of the weapons, but in terms of the maps and where they place them in regards to like the history there, like I'm big on history, but Fort de Vaux, the Verdun Heights area, those maps are great. The fact that they put the Chartreuse in there, which, historically not super accurate, but still a really, really interesting bit of history. They put that in there, and I thought it was fantastic. So I looked at it, I'm like, this was pretty great. I was really annoyed by them not being in the base game, but they came out with this, and I was pretty happy with it. And it's only got me more excited for what they're going to do for In the Name of the Tsar and all the other DLC packs. I'm looking at them like they're doing it right. So
Izzy, I'm glad you really did ask this question, because obviously we want to talk about the DLC as much as possible. And I felt like I love the whole maps. The maps were pretty good. On operations, I do feel like they need to go back and change where the people spawn and everything else, because I don't know if it's a higher caliber of players that are playing, because premium players are more likely the hardcore Battlefield players than rather than casuals, and so you're filling the servers with quite good competition, which isn't in its own right good, but it does showcase that the maps are kind of imbalanced for the attackers. The attackers have such a hard time on operations, and you can get stuck in the first set of objectives, and that's never fun for 3 battalions.
They'll definitely end up changing it.
The only thing I've noticed where you can actually start making moves is I've convinced, when I was streaming, I convinced quite a few people to, let's just go throw smoke grenades in as crazy as much.
Yeah.
And you start doing that, and it becomes an actual strategy and an actual way to win.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to win even like what is that, Devil's Anvil, and that without losing losing a battalion.
right.
I think.
Yeah, you got to do that.
I haven't done that.
in that
I think-
low-lying
I think
area.
the
where
stars
woods-
aligned for that.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh no,
That's
it's the
like,
smoke
wow.
alliance. Just
Yeah,
lines
make
of
a
smoke
wall
and you run in.
Make a wall of smoke and then run in behind it. Yep.
And that just speaks to basically that there's not enough good cover. And the cover that's there is also explodable. If you think about the first map on, what's that last map that we saw that was revealed?
Verdun
That's on
Heights.
fire. Verdun Heights,
Verdun
there you go.
Heights.
Yeah.
And when you start, there's that fence, and that fence is explodable. And then
Yeah.
once you get rid of that fence, the attackers have literally nothing. And it's just that's the thing where into the design that went in there. I don't know if they had enough time or had enough play on these maps to really figure out that this is gonna be an issue. I remember, so a few of us actually went to the event to capture some of the footage, right? It was myself, Izzy, and Flak. We actually went out there. And one of the things was, even in our capture session, we got stomped and stuck
Yeah.
in attacking or defending. I don't know if all of us were attacking at that time or defending.
I-
I don't remember.
I think,
I was defending.
yeah, Izzy was defending because I murdered him with the trench raider,
I
but
don't
you
wanna
and
talk
I
about
were
that.
stuck on the attacking side,
Shots fired.
and we just got our teeth kicked in that first thing, and
Yeah.
like that, I was really excited because that was like the first thing that we played, right? Like they just threw us into that operation, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome, and then I'm like, oh crap, this is really really difficult. We need to find a way to solve this issue here. So yeah, that was really tough to take that first zone, and I don't know how they're going to balance it, but I would think that they have some ideas.
I'm
Right,
sure
and-
they're working on it. I mean, they have to. It's almost impossible to push that first sector.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's been complaining about it. It's been heavily criticized. So we know they're aware of it at this point. Like, there's no way they're not. But I mean, that's good. They're usually decent at fixing things when it's imbalanced. You can always rely on DICE to fix it sooner or later. But what did you guys think about weapons implemented with the DLC? Do you think it's really affected the overall weapon balance of the game? Has it shifted the
No.
tides of playability?
No,
I don't
and
think so.
I think that's a real
No, I
testament
think
to
it
what
just added.
DICE has been able to do in terms of balancing. Like they balance those weapons well. Like
Yeah.
there are people who complain about every single one of those guns, but all their complaints are, oh, this gun is too powerful, or this gun is too accurate, or blah blah blah. But it's like none of those complaints take into account, like, oh, the show shot, for example. Like that thing hits like a hammer, but it fires really, really, really slowly.
And it runs out of ammo fast too.
That
yeah,
gun was a
and
disappointment to me.
see,
I like
and,
it, dude. I like it.
and then you got Echo, who's like, that was a disappointment. So I think the fact that we have varying opinions about this says that they balance them pretty well.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think they were well balanced. Nothing stood out as being,
Yeah, the
ridiculously
shotgun.
overpowered or anything.
How do you
Dude,
pronounce that? How do you pronounce the shotgun? Sorgen?
Ugh, I don't know how that.
I've been yelled at a lot lately over that. All right, Shergren.
Shergren?
All right.
Sounds about right.
Shergren. I'll go with that.
Shergren.
For me, it was the medic weapon just stood out for me. Like the 2-shot, being able to 1, 2 tap someone dead. That seemed a little OP to me.
It only
even
has
though
6
it's slow.
bullets, though.
Yeah,
It can drop 3 people very effectively, and the reload is not that slow.
I died so many times because I just couldn't land the shots for whatever reason, because I was used to, a faster rate of
Sure.
fire, and I haven't gotten used to it yet. So every time I use it, I wind up dying. So,
Yeah. And then so the other thing is, I like that Izzy, you brought that up because like I think Frontlines. My only problem with Frontlines was the fact that people on tanks, they do absolutely nothing. You
Yeah.
can play on the map Soyons.
Sessions.
Yeah, there's not enough cover, and in these zones, they'll have like people hiding in these little
Yeah.
trenches or hiding in little ditches, and then literally my own team tanks. I think you get 2 per team on that one. They're out on the hill,
Exactly.
sniping, shooting. They're not pushing into the cap zone. And we lose because of that, or because of that, we have a drawn-out game where it's like hour and a half.
Hours, yeah.
Just get on the objective.
It
and
ruins the flow. I don't
think-
know.
Either removing them. I mean, I can't think of a way to make them PTFO. I can't think of me going over there and slapping them like, yo, PTFO, man. I can't. So
Yeah.
it really probably just
I
needs
just
to
say remove them. Just no vehicles in front lines. Make it like a competitive infantry mode. I think that would work better with a timer that, persuades people to push. Even if it's like, 30 minutes to an hour, just limit it in a way so people are like, uh-oh, timer's running out. We better push. It's time to go.
see, I just get behind the people who don't move and blow the whistle continuously, and eventually they get tired of it and they go.
What, the go whistle?
Yeah,
Does it go?
go,
The
go,
rape
go.
whistle.
Yep.
Funny, I never
think
think
it's-
of that.
The
They
last
can
thing.
hear you. when you blow it, the enemies can too.
Wow. So the last thing I kind of went and we just breezed up on the Elite, I thought about the Elite too, like from the whole DLC. I just don't like that he can get one shot killed by a bayonet charge. He's supposed to be a melee expert, you know? I would have liked to him like be able to take a bayonet and just, you know? I don't know. It seems so cheap because he has to be so close to kill you and he has no way to retaliate against a bayonet charge. Where others can at least shoot at him while he's bayonet charging you. You know what I mean? I mean, he's got a pistol, but even then.
I guess that makes sense. Maybe you just make him not a bayonet chargeable from the front, so they can't charge right at you. They'd have to hit you from the back.
I don't know.
I think he's fine the way he is.
I didn't have too many complaints about
and
it.
I say that as somebody who loves to bayonet charge things, but I also like, you know, being able to play the trench raider and stuff. And it's like, I think elites, because they are very, very powerful, if you're able to, you know, line up a bayonet charge and they can't take you down, you earn that kill. You know, and I've been killed by bayonet charges like a million times as an elite, but even then I'm like, you know, GG. Good game. You got me on that. But that, and it's not impossible to dodge bayonet charges. It happens to me quite a lot where you just get sidestepped and then clubbed in the back. I guess you can do that
a lot as the elite too, since he moves so quick. I guess you can kind of skirt around him if you need to.
Yeah.
That was not my experience. I was just like, oh, I was killing a few people, this and that, and all of a sudden, bayonet guy, I see him coming for me. I'm like, backed. I can't do much. And then he just skewers me, and I'm like,
It happens to the best of us. But all around, solid reviews, guys, for the DLC.
Yeah. I feel like the map design for the new maps is totally made for, like, tailor-made for operations in Frontline. That I really enjoyed that part of the DLC. I almost feel like because they put them together in such a way that you get to experience the entire map set, it really makes it feel like the maps were designed for the new game mode, and I enjoy that. That's something that we haven't seen probably since Battlefield 3, actually making a map designed for the game mode. So I'm enjoying that.
yeah.
The trenches, yeah.
I mean,
All right.
I've tried all the weapons. The only weapon I haven't tried, and maybe you guys have, anyone tried the MLE extended? What the tanker weapon is?
No, I have not been able to unlock that or anything. But
I was killed by it once.
Whoa,
That's about it.
whoa! I have not been killed by it. It seems like our review here is very incomplete.
MLE extended?
Mambo's like, what is it?
Is it?
I gotta write this down for later.
Yeah, right. I got to work on something.
Dude, there's like, we got all these new guns, right? One per kit, and then I mean, assault also gets a shotgun technically, and then the variations aside, the tanker and pilot get one as well, and I just did not unlock it. Does anyone even know how to unlock it?
You have to get so many kills with, I think, one of the tanker weapons. I don't remember exactly. It's something I looked at. I'm like, oh, okay, this one seemed like kind of a cop-out weapon, but
every single
it
weapon
added
except the
something.
melee weapons.
I don't vehicle, so I don't know.
I don't vehicle as much either. We
I
got
only blow them
cold
up.
infantry scrubs by Dan.
Yeah,
here.
I got two of the puzzle pieces for the curved knife, one of the new melee weapons.
Yeah.
Nice.
Once again, I got no puzzle pieces here.
I've been saving up. I have 100 battle packs to open, so I'm hoping I get a few of the new weapons.
You won't, because they only, like, if you open an old battle pack, they only has an option of giving you the old things. It won't give you the new one.
I have like 50 of the new battle packs. So
okay.
Good.
Yeah, you have a chance.
I should get a few. But all right, guys. Topic switching over. Mambo, I think you're up next, right?
So if that's all, we're gonna go straight into our second topic. Mambo, the question from you was new uses for Warbonds.
Yeah, I was doing my daily streaming, watching streams, and I happened to come across some options in CS:GO where they're actually selling things with currency in the game or whatnot, knives or whatnot. So I was like, we have all these war bonds for Battlefield. Why are we not getting to use those? How about reduce the grenade spam, but then let people spend their money for certain classes to get an extra 20 rounds of ammo or an extra grenade at the start of the round or something like that. Why not use the war bonds in a way that it creates interaction and use for what you got? You created an item in the game and nobody's using them. I don't use war bonds. Do you guys use your war bonds?
I have like
rich in war
10,000.
bonds.
I don't even know how many I have.
I have like 20,000. It's like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah, I'm not sure about all that in terms of like, I feel like there's got to be some kind of end game that we don't know yet in terms of what we'll be able to do with them. Because even if you like did the math and whatever, I think you can unlock way more war bonds than are actually required to unlock all of the all of the weapons. You know, and I was really hoping, I got really excited when we first heard about scrap exchange. I was like, yes, they're going to let us exchange war bonds for scrap, which I still think would be ideal. But
yeah, we had so many ideas about this exchange, and they just did not do that. They just did this other thing, and we're just like, okay.
Hey, it's still good. It's still
better
good.
than nothing.
No, when Mambo mentioned this, I thought of this. Do you guys remember in Black Ops 1, they had wager matches for COD points, which is kind of like war bonds in Battlefields, where you could go into a round and bet X amount of war bonds, and you could win, COD points in that game. But I was thinking, what if you could do the same thing in Battlefield, where you could wager your war bonds and then win and get even more, even if it was like a status thing, like how many war bonds do you have? I have 150,000. Something like that, just to collect them as a.
It shows at the end of the
Izzy.
round. That would be cool. It shows at the end of the round who
It shows
bet the
how
most,
many you have.
You know?
Oh man, Izzy, listen. When you just hit that, I had a similar idea. It's just so awesome. You guys gotta get ready for this. This is so groundbreaking. Check
All right,
this
let's hear
out.
it.
Mambo, you said that, and you just inspired me. I was there like keyboard warrior. Listen, I wrote all this down so I don't forget it. So my thing was about the war bonds are useless, right? So let's give them some usage. First of all, they should let you buy skins with war bonds, right? We thought about, okay, skins to scraps and then war bonds.
That'd be cool.
Forget the scraps, just war bonds, right? And the other thing would have been cool is like that players be able to play, aside from skins, maybe dog tags, maybe character model stuff, like new helmet style. Like you can go for the regular German helmet or the German helmet with like a spike if you're an officer, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different variations to actual World War One, I don't know, uniforms, you know?
Right.
And we could do these things. We can have personalization there, and war bonds would be the way to introduce that in there. So I'm like, okay. But then now that you speak about wagering, and I was like, yo, it'd be so cool to buy with war bonds battle packs, right? And the way I would think is like, say in the beginning of a round, we're always trying to get people to PTFO. How do you make people PTFO? You need to make them care about the game that they're playing. Some people would just be like, oh, I'm just gonna fool around in a round because that's the kind of fun I'm having. But if you make it worth something, then they actually try to play the game more and try to win. So like in the beginning of a round, so say a round's loading up and people are queuing up and all this, say you wager like 100 war bonds because you're gonna win. So now that you put war bonds on the line, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna try to win, right? But the other team's also doing the same thing. So it's like someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose. And then the pot of war bonds grows.
Right.
So
And
when
they
go
take
the
your
spoils.
pot if you lose. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's cool,
Might be
right?
fun.
Like that'd be kind of cool. It gets you more PTFO, gets people more oriented. Like, oh, whoa, I got war bonds, and then they go towards skins. What? You know, like that's cool. And
Let me buy my puzzle pieces for crying out loud. Yeah.
maybe, who knows? I mean, sure. If DICE wants to make them very expensive because they don't want you to just get things for free,
Right.
make
I'm
them
fine with that.
expensive. I'm sure there are players who will play thousands of hours like myself to get all this fun stuff, you know? But I love the wager idea because it makes people play the objective. It's going to make people want to actually
Exactly.
play hard. And so then the other things came to my mind, and I went just crazy with this one. Listen.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, okay, I don't know, maybe give them out to people as level up after every class, like they already do, right? And they also should give you war bonds. Oh no, this was. Let me see. Aside from skins, yeah, give them up to. Right now we get them per level ups, right? And we don't really get them for leveling up classes. We don't get anything for leveling up classes, do we?
I don't
No.
think so.
So per level up, they should be given some sort of war bonds, to encourage people to play other
remember-
kits.
I remember catching a stream of Battlefield when they were like talking about the launch of the DLC, and they were talking about when players reach rank 50, possibly introducing something for that class at rank 50. I don't know whether it's a gold gun or a gold knife, something. I mean, we got gold guns and stuff already in the game, but a gold knife would be really cool, or maybe a gold peak on your helmet, like an officer's helmet, something that was like, wow, look at that. That guy's rank 50 on that class. That's insane. I hit rank 38 today on my sniper class. I was like, whoa, I'm rank 38 on my sniper class.
Right.
They need to give us gold dog tags for max class rank.
Oh, there you
Just
go.
saying.
yeah,
Like they did in Battlefield 3.
but also, like, for instance, so you max out your one class rank and you constantly play that and that's it, because you don't get anything for maxing out your other ones, really, right? Just a dog tag, really, it's not even that great. But if you kept getting at least war bonds each step of the way, and you wanted war bonds because you want customization, because you want to buy battle packs with them, then you would at least go play sniper just because that's level 15 and you still can keep gaining war bonds. So aside from wagering to get more war bonds, you can get war bonds by leveling up classes, leveling up your character, All right, so the other thing I thought about for that is at the start of the round, when you have accolades at the end of the round, there's 5 slots that are doing something and they get something. Like, I know people have always wanted those people to get the battle packs, right?
Yeah.
So
I would agree
don't
with
think
that.
I don't think that would be fair though. But if you
Why
get
not?
war bonds for being in those top 5 slots, you see what I'm saying?
That'd be
Then
an
you
okay trade.
technically be getting battle packs because you can get enough. You know what I mean? So
To buy a battle pack?
yeah,
I don't know,
so-
maybe.
But here's my catch. Because, they're very random at the end of the round. And it's like not fair. It's like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to get 80 revives, like the most revives to do this. So at the beginning of a round, not only do you let people vote to see if they're going to win a match, or lose it, you get to also see which 5 random accolades will be given war bonds. So at the start, you'll be like, oh, the guy with the most revives this round will get war bonds.
I
So
like that idea.
So
That's a good idea.
So people will be like, yo, this round I'm playing medic, baby, And then actually, that's actually helping the gameplay. I
would
went in
encourage
with this
PTFO.
idea, and I was like, yo, this will help gameplay. People will actually play their kits correctly. You'll see like, oh, top KD, okay, maybe, hey, that one might pop up once in a while, and then someone will be inspired to go into a tank down a hill. Sure, maybe that's not the greatest one. But
As long as those challenges are team or objective oriented, okay. If it's going to be like most kills, which I feel like they'd have to do that one, just because somebody wants bragging rights for doing that and whatever. But yeah, as long as it's like team play oriented, then that would be great. Anything, literally anything, to get somebody off of like the rocks on Sinai Desert, or just
but
get
you know
out there
what?
and do something.
All right, so that guy's on the rocks, and maybe even that guy's gonna want customization, is gonna want battle packs and all this other stuff. And since there's no maybe have still one random battle pack, whatever, for somebody. I don't know. I'm not gonna say don't do it, Dice. But with the war bond system, you're at least rewarding the people who are doing something fun, and it'll mix up the gameplay, because every round that you play of operations, of conquest, of whatever, you're gonna see the amount of people who get the accolades, and those are the people who are getting war bonds or doing something special. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I know. I just went with that idea, and that's what I thought about war bonds. Just like,
Okay.
how can we make it better?
That would only work if you could exchange war bonds for
looks
battle
like he's going to
packs.
pop at the Saints. Flack, what do you got on the topic? War bonds.
Warbonds, I pretty much agree with Echo. To me, right now, they're completely useless, and they could be doing something a lot more productive. And I like his ideas in that regard. I've always been a fan of more and more customization, and I think Warbonds would be a good outlet for, or that would be a good outlet for Warbonds, I should say. So, that's where I'm at on that. I just look at them now. I'm like, yeah, I got them. They don't do anything. I got like 10,000 there for no
Yo,
reason.
the fact that you brought it up, Mambo, I mean, just got me like just what a missed opportunity to make the game so much more engaging, so much more
Right.
oriented on the gameplay.
But all of that, it all relies around them actually adding more content to the game, like customization and stuff. Otherwise, that would never happen.
I mean,
So the question is, are they willing to add like soldier customization and purchasable camos? Does that fit with the model they've been going for with the game so far?
Well, and that's going to take a lot of work to do as well, to build that framework and then to build those items. And is that something they want to do at this point, or maybe we'll see it in the next one? I don't know. But if it's a choice between like a really solid DLC pack and something, with Warbonds, I would pick the DLC pack. But
Me too.
Yeah, like if they're able to do it with the time allotted and have it work right and everything, and I mean they've done some things along those lines, like they did ribbons,
Right.
So we know that they're listening to that. We know that they're looking for things to get us more involved with the gameplay, right? So yeah, sure, possibility.
So I mean, we've had Pat Montana talking about something you were mentioning basically. Is he says I'm assuming why the reason they don't want to implement character customization is for the hardcore crowd. How will they be able to differentiate the enemy? And I kind of responded to him in the chat because we were all having a discussion. And on the side, I was just kind of wanted to mention to him is that, well, what if they just leave that in hardcore mode where no customization allowed? I think they'd please both sides
That
of
would
the
fit in
spectrum.
well in hardcore.
Yeah,
That would work.
hardcore.
I think there are easily ways that they can do the customization and whatnot. Like I went to the World War I museum in Kansas City, and it's like they've got dozens of uniforms up there, and they're very obviously American uniforms. Like the only differentiations are patches, for example. So you can do things simple like patches, or little
Mustaches.
accents to things, or mustaches, yes, which we've been clamoring for a long time,
We
or
want mustaches.
helmet art, for example.
Yeah,
A
that'd be
lot
cool,
of them
too.
kind of experimented with camouflage at that point in time.
Maybe some tattoos on exposed arms and stuff. Little things
Why
like that
not?
would be nice. Like on your arms where you see the gun, you're holding the gun. It might look cool to have a tattoo there.
So
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff that can be done that doesn't break, the is that person friendly or enemy kind of thing there. And if we want to get really silly about stuff, it's like I've noticed somebody has a particular weapon camo before I kill them, but the Germans are running around using BARs and et cetera, et cetera. I don't think a little bit more in that direction is really going to hurt it, as long as the uniforms stay the same color, and
Right,
they're
'cause
easily distinguishable.
They're technically using guns that they didn't even have.
Yeah.
Running around with factions that are shooting Springfields and stuff like that. It's just I see where you're going with that. I was looking at Danny again mentioned that Battlefield Hardline has a server setting to stop viewing custom suits. So that'd be different settings that they could have, and that goes back to like our idea from community servers should have their tab in that UI browser, so they get more love and appreciation from DICE and more, I guess, advertising, so people can see it and actually be a part of community servers rather than just they're there. You have to search for them if you know how to look, and you can't find them. But I'm sure there's a solution to have no customizations there for people, and I think that hardcore idea would be a decent one. And then just in regular, customization would be welcome. I think most Battlefield players would welcome it. So I don't know. And through Warbonds, I mean, that just seems awesome. And in my opinion, that just leaves scraps like dumb.
I think most people are on board with customization as long as it doesn't enter like the Call of Duty realm of clown masks and green
Yeah.
hair and stuff. Then we're fine as long as it
They
fits with
do
the time
that?
period. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Call of Duty is crazy.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah. All right.
Oh.
Well.
Which I
anyways.
mean, if your game is set in space, like that's fine, okay. But Battlefield 1 obviously not.
Space
Right.
clowns?
Yeah, the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That was a film, right?
That was a film
Probably.
too?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
All right.
I think we're ready for the next topic, Mambo. What are you feeling?
Yeah, let's transition over with taking some of that idea of customization that you're speaking about and going over to your topic, Echo. What do you think?
All right. So for my topic, okay, you've probably heard by now, and if you haven't, you're watching this. In CTE, Dice introduced brand new variations for each of the level 10 weapons. So that's the Hellrigger, that's the wait a minute. Hellrigger,
Yeah, Martini Henry.
Martini Henry, the
Self-Slaughter,
Self-Slaughter,
1906.
1906, and the Hewitt Automatic.
Yes.
Hewitt, how do you pronounce it?
LMG, yeah.
Hewitt.
All right.
technically.
Hewitt automatic. So they're kind of, some of them are lackluster. Some of them received plenty of nerfs and kind of mixing it up. And all right, but it's an interesting thing that they came out of nowhere. It surprised me that they're actually giving out new variants, and that got me thinking. You know, most guns have 3 variants in this game, and we're a creative bunch of people, right? So I'm asking you guys right here, Flak, Mambo, and Izzy, if you had to create a brand new variation for these already said weapons, what would it be?
For any weapons or just the rank 10s?
You pick one of those level 10s and a brand new variation. Because let me recap for the people who are watching and probably haven't noticed, and then you guys have some more time to really get the juices going. The Hellrigger, as it is getting a defensive edition where it doubles its ammo. It's now 120, gets a bipod and optical. Seems like a real big buff to that gun. I mean, it's an assault weapon acting like it's an LMG now. The Martini was known as a hard-hitting sweet spot, very up close with a iron sight. Now it's getting a sniper scope. I don't think the statistics are changing on it, however, so I'm not sure why you'd want to snipe with a so close one at a time round rifle. The Selpstalater, I call it Cell Blaster, I don't know. Selpstalater 1906 is getting a scope, also a sniper scope, which I thought was weird because I thought it would have been a marksman scope, but which is kind of cool because that's a very, very precise medic weapon. And the last one, the Hewitt, even though it got buffed by giving it a bipod, is now getting, what is it getting? I want to say an optical scope.
Yeah, it's got an optical scope on it.
And that's it. And I think that gives it more accuracy possible in its, I don't know. You know?
More control anyway, I would say.
So those are the ones already taken up, so you can't do those.
All right, I say Automatico with the extended mag. Give me like a 45 round.
No.
Give me like a 45 round
Hold on,
mag.
Izzy. You misunderstood. I want you to just think about the level 10 guns, though.
Oh, well, that's
We
not
can't
as
have
fun,
a fourth variation on Automatico. Come on, man.
Oh, fine, whatever. You know, fun.
All right.
I was kidding. Okay.
Extended
I say
mags.
Hellregal with some sort of extended barrel, but less ammo per mag. So you get like extra range, maybe a little more recoil, but make it a longer range gun. But maybe cut it down to 30 rounds per magazine with an extended or heavy barrel.
So would it still be a drum magazine, or now you're feeding it a regular one?
You could still have a drum mag, just smaller rounds, smaller mag size.
Yeah, on Izzy's comment there, historically they did make a box magazine for it. I believe there have been pictures of it, but like that would be a cool thing to have if you had that, and the trade-off was it was more controllable because you only had 30 rounds in the magazine or something like that. So, yeah.
That'd be interesting for a Hellrigger. How about you, Mambo? Any Hellrigger ideas?
No, I'm not too big on the Hellrigger. I think it's beast enough. I got like 1,000 kills on that in the first 2 days the game was released. I was like, this gun is ridiculous.
But then they nerfed it.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. I think the gun
good.
it's
good.
It's OP, man, in my opinion. I'm looking at lately. I've been doing a lot of sniping, and I'd loved before they nerfed the Martini. I was loving it, and I was thinking, okay, the topic, you're saying the level 10 guns, the Martini, are you saying that the current scope that's coming out for it, do you think it should change, or are you saying we should add another variant or a change?
Well, I'm saying if you had to create another variant, what would it be? Knowing that they're
of my
already
level
giving
10,
you some.
yeah, it would either be an ability to stay aim down sight with the Martini. Like you don't have to come off ADS. Like the Gewehr, I always say Gewehr.
The
You know
gear.
how the carbine version of it, you don't have
The
to
95, yes.
off sight. You could just stay quick bolt. Well, how
Ooh.
about a quick slot, like a self-loading Martini or a double barrel Martini, something that can give you the ability to stay on site longer. I don't know, something like that.
That's an interesting one because right now the only rifle that can reload while staying scoped is the 95. No
Right.
other sniper rifle could, and for the Martini to be doing that, that'd be an interesting one as a trade-off.
Right. That's my 2 cents.
Anybody have any ideas for the Hewitt? I'll tell
Make
you
it-
guys what I
make
came
it
up
not
with later.
suck.
How you gonna make it not suck though?
That gun in general needs a damage buff.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's a
It
Nerf
really,
gun.
really does.
So put
I
real
mean,
bullets in it this time.
yes,
Yes,
yeah,
please.
no little Nerf or little pellet gun type of stuff. I
Right.
would really like to see, on the topic of the guns though, I really like the self slaughter. I just dislike that its magazine is so small. So if there was some way that I could get an extended magazine size on that, or
So
an optical sight would be nice to have on that gun.
so
Well,
basically make it a
I used the
suppressor.
marksman Slobstotter today, and I couldn't seem to get consistent hits with it. I don't know if it was the server I was on, but typically that gun is deadly. Like
Well,
right on.
that's the other version of that gun, not the level 10 version, right? Because they're
Right.
different.
It's a
Level
marksman
10
version.
is
I never used it.
level
I
10 has
bought
got
it today,
5
and I was like,
bullets.
what is this?
And it's an insanely quick level 10 gun. And
That's why I like
that's
it.
yeah, that's why I think what they're giving it, the sniper scope, I would have gave it a marksman scope, but the sniper scope combined with its already good accuracy and a great speed, I think that gun's gonna be pretty darn fun to play. But I guess I understand. Like my idea with the Hewitt, when I thought about it, I agree with Flak. I basically wanted to see it more in line with other LMGs, give it an actual magazine that's good, expand the magazine, give it a scope, and maybe make it a suppressive version. Yeah, most LMGs already have a suppressive version, so
I
it
think
could be
that would at least, if you're going to be shooting Nerf bullets out of that gun, at least it having suppressive capabilities would be nice. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to complain about that if that happens. But yeah,
You ever have somebody ask you to give you a loadout in stream echo? They say, yeah, run the Hewitt. I'm like, oh no, not that gun.
Oh, I've gotten loadouts where I'm like, oh god, guys, please no. I had to like stop Revelos because people were like giving me these loadouts and it was just like, hey, Martini only, or like let's do this weird limpet only. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, or Martini with the Calibri. Oh, yeah, great, thanks.
So let me give you guys a lowdown of what I thought because I felt like you guys had some interesting things, and I'm along the lines of where you guys fall. I just basically thought about for the Hellrigger, make like a quick reload version with a short magazine and give it like trench characteristics. So like very very tight hip fire, and at that expense you'll have just like a 20 round magazine or whatever, but you'll have a magazine that you can kind of reload quickly. Maybe that is historically accurate, like Flak, you were saying that there was some sort of a box loaded magazine.
yeah. I shared the link in the chat there of the photo. I'll pop that in there again. But yeah, no, they had it was like a 20 to 30 round box magazine, just that little stack type of stuff. So we know that was out there, and a big issue with a lot of those early submachine gun type weapons was feeding problems. So like the MP18, for example, had issues with its snail magazine.
Where do you find these pictures at, Black? Oh my God.
That
He
one
was
is
there to
from
take
the
'em.
Australian National.
Oh, yeah, he's got copyright.
Not Australian. That one's from the Austrian National Archives, and I'm pretty sure I've looked at every single photo in there, like all 20,000, 30,000 photos in there.
Wow.
But you know,
Deserve a
that's a
trophy for
really,
that one.
really neat photo. But yeah, I look at them like that would be really neat. You know, a lot of people say, oh, the Hellregal's magazine size is too big. It's OP. You know, if you look at the actual things that they were using, which, you know, of course, the fun little bit about the new variation of it is that that's the actual size the magazine was that 120 round magazine. So I just think it'd be real neat. Oh, it give me a 30 round box magazine, and you know, give me more control over it,
Yeah.
more speed maybe. I still
Make
feel
it-
like I'm
make
running
it
and shooting
trench.
sometimes.
Yeah, but Echo, didn't they say in the CTE that it actually overheats? The water gets too hot and it
Yeah.
boils over or whatever?
It does that in the core game right now already.
Right.
So
Yeah, it does overheat.
that's obviously going to offset it, but of course you don't have to reload there.
Reload.
Did they
Right.
by any chance in CTE? I don't know if I don't know because I didn't play the CTE yet. Did they by any chance change how many bullets you can fire before you overheat in the 120 version versus the regular version, or are they the equal parts?
That I don't know. I know that
Anybody
they've
in the chat
tweaked it
know?
in a patch. They tweaked it in a previous patch where it would overheat.
Too soon or something. I've seen that in
Yeah.
patch notes.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact details on it, but
I feel like this new 120 version is going to be so good, it has to have a drawback. Like maybe overheat sooner than a 60 version?
well, Danny says it overheats at the same time, which
Wow.
wouldn't surprise me, but I'm sure that, you know, they behave differently. You know, it's got a bipod too, so it's probably not going to have the same
You know,
accuracy.
I was upset about that. They gave it a bipod, and I felt like the ribeye rolls was like unique because it was the only SMG with a bipod, and that thing is so accurate with a bipod, it's amazing. And now this one gets a bipod 120 magazine.
I will say that I'm okay with that for one reason here, that you know, the regular people who don't have the DLC don't really have a chance to get a bipoded submachine gun, and
That's a
once
good
they push
point.
that through, they'll have that.
Okay.
So that is kind of a, you know, added value to the game, or at least, you know, if you get killed by the Ruby Rollers, you can be like, oh well, you know, I'll just use this gun with a bipod on it.
It gives them something else to unlock. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and I see Danny's had more time in CTE. If you guys don't know who Danny is, he's a longtime community member in Battlefield, also makes YouTube videos. I'm pretty sure he's spot on with this one. Says that there's way more recoil on that gun.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
okay, I mean, I'll have to play with it like everyone else, and maybe I'll formulate a better opinion there. And I trust that DICE is going to make it different. I don't want guns to have variations, and then one variation is clearly the winner. Like, wait, what are you doing with that, you know, Hellrigger? Why aren't you using the defensive? Because that's the one to use. You know what I mean? I hope that doesn't become the case.
I mean, if everybody's got access to the Automaticos, so what are we even talking about? Like,
Right, all right. But all right. So my other thing is, so we just went over all of them, and I want to still ask you guys, not getting away from me yet, because I really want to know how you gonna make the Substellator 1906 variant. This one's gonna be
Extended
tough.
mag.
yeah, like extended mag, or I would like to have a, you know, some kind of optical sight on it, not a marksman sight, something for that more close-up kind of stuff, because I enjoy using that weapon in close quarter stuff because it has such a fast firing rate, you know. And Danny's saying extended mag wouldn't work, and it's probably true, because it would just, you know, just crap on everything that got in its way if you gave it an extended magazine. But you know, different.
In
different,
World War I, I don't know, maybe Flak knows. Did they at the time do a lot what they were doing in Vietnam, where they would put their mags taped together and they could you know, drop the mag and flip it around and put it back in? Did they do that? They could do that to the Slottstarter pretty easy, because that's a standard banana clip, right?
the self slaughter
No.
loaded
it's-
from the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it did. Oh, the
yeah.
1906, that
Yeah.
version of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that version.
the 1906 did.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the 1916
Oh,
version, I believe.
Yeah.
That's the one with the big 20-round magazine on it. The 1906 just has that 5-round internal
and they kind of
end
pull
block.
back the
Yep.
hammer
Yeah.
on the top
Yep.
to let go,
Yeah.
to load the bullets in. Oh, okay.
So-
There's some interesting photos, and I'll have to look and see if I can find them. But along the lines of what you're talking about, so they did do some of that for other things, but not with that gun in particular. So, there are other.
Can they do a top-loading magazine like the Madsen?
That might be cool.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look into more things. I would just like more options with it. Maybe if something
Right.
was better geared towards close quarter or hip fire.
Maybe a
type of
faster
stuff.
reload.
If they-
reload.
If
Yeah.
they put a foregrip on it or something like that.
Oh,
You know
that
what I
could be
thought
interesting.
of? And this may be like because last week, 2 weeks ago, we spoke about like briefly just talking about like outlawed war mechanics. Like you can't use hollow tip bullets, you can't do all this. But in World War One, these things were still in wide use, like flamethrowers, gas, chemical warfare. So I thought, what if this gun had poison tip bullets?
That's actually not a horrible idea. But would it do lingering damage or just a damage buff overall?
I don't know. I just threw it out there.
Because lingering damage in games, people tend to not like. Think about the Thorn in Destiny, how many people hate that if you played that game. So weapons that do lingering damage tend to get backlash. But I don't know. It's a cool idea.
Would there be a good way to create poison tip bullets and somewhat? I mean, we
You've got
had in
lead
Battlefield 4,
already,
we had the
yeah.
poison tip arrow, and it was very trolly. It didn't do much damage at all. That's why no one flipped out about it. So maybe, all right, level 10 gun and have a trolley. Trolley poison tip one is very weak and is slowly and barely get any kills, but it's funny.
sure.
The gun is accurate, especially when bipoded. It's probably not talking about that one. I don't know. I mean, that was my last kind of like idea about it.
Yeah,
Because that gun is really hard to make better.
right.
All right, so I'm wondering if you guys have any last thoughts on any variants. Just before we close off the new variants, how you guys feel about the variants that are in there that we are getting?
I think it's great, especially if they, and I'm assuming they will, of course, come to vanilla Battlefield 1 as part of a free update or something like that. I think, the community in large will appreciate that, and it gives us more things to play around with and more challenges to do, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah,
I'm a pistol guy, and if they bring out more pistols, I'd be happy with that. But variants, I think, because Battlefield 1 has a lot less weapons than the previous Battlefields does, because of the time era and whatnot. Variants definitely kind of fits their whole theme. But I think they could bring out some more pistols. I'm a pistol guy. I like that up close, personal. Like Danny said, you guys are infantry scrubs. But I like that ability to finish off the second or third guy when you had to switch to your sidearm. Give me a unique sidearm. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I would agree. I just feel like sometimes switching to a sidearm takes too long in Battlefield. Should be a little bit quicker, especially if you have a very small sidearm. If you're taking out the Mars, maybe a little longer, but some of the sidearms don't come up fast enough. Izzy, closing thoughts before I switch over to the next topic?
I think it's a great idea. Hopefully they'll add more variants of other weapons in the future, not just the
Right.
rank 10. But
Oh,
I'm all
for
for it.
free?
Yeah, for free, just to keep adding content.
Yeah, I guess that's a nice new thing. And like I said, I was surprised, and I'm sure you guys were too, that they were actually doing this. I didn't think that they would, So we're gonna transition to the next topic and the final topic for the podcast. After which we will do questions from the live audience watching during the recording, and I think we also have one email to read off. So last topic is by Flak. Flak, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, so we were on the topic of the different guns here that hopefully will be coming to Battlefield 1 as part of an update. The new level 10 weapons, and I'm not sure Danny would be able to tell me because Danny knows everything random about Battlefield, but did they make them available to everybody in the CTE at this point? Because they were initially there with challenges, but then they
Yes.
said, okay, they're gonna be able to
Yeah,
available to
I've
everybody.
seen Westy talk about it, and I've seen level cap, so I'm pretty sure that it's a yes now.
Yeah. So on that note, I would expect when they come to the game that they'll still be locked behind challenges. We had that with the new weapons in the DLC, and I've encountered a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I don't like that they're, I paid for this content. I should be able to use it right away. I don't want to have to jump through the hoops of getting, 20 headshots with the MP18 optical, for example." Personally, I like it. And I really think that it would be silly of them not to put it behind like objectives when it comes to vanilla Battlefield 1 for the new weapons, because, we were just talking about, when somebody gets to level 10, there's no real reason for them to continue playing that class if they don't like it. Adding the new weapons and having new challenges to complete, I think is a good idea. So I was curious what you guys thought about having that, how you've enjoyed unlocking the weapons in the DLC so far, and what you would hope to see in the future.
All right, so I'm glad you asked this question because when I stream, I get this all the time. People coming in and saying, "Hey, man, I was doing the new unlock and then it resets every time," and I think
I've
it's
heard
because
that. I've heard
yeah,
it. People's stuff just totally deleting. Like what?
well, I
I had
mean,
that happen in the CTE, so that was there before it came to the full DLC,
well, I'm
actually.
not 100% convinced that the people are talking exactly about you guys are saying maybe some sort of glitch. Maybe there is a glitch, but
I've experienced it.
I think what there also is there is a poor explanation once again by Dice on how the whole unlock system works. They'll give you get 50 kills, get 15 kills in a round, and then on next one they'll put get 50 kills with a shotgun or something, right? So you think that you would have to do the 15 kills one in a round. Once you do it, you move on to the other one. No,
Or the
because the
mortars.
15 because the
Yeah.
15 kill one refreshes each time, each round. So you're supposed to do the 50 first and then do the 15 in one round. You know what I
Right. I
mean?
remember you came into my stream and told me that. Do the mortar one first or whatever. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes. And that's not clear. And I think people are coming to my live stream and asking me because they see me with the new weapon, like saying, hey man, it keeps resetting, where in reality, they're just doing it in the wrong order. And I don't blame them because DICE does not explain to you that, hey man, you should probably do it in this order, you know? I don't know. I mean, they need to do just a better job of it. I don't have an issue with them having them in there. Sometimes they're really mundane, but I don't know. People wanted content. Is this what we wanted?
Well, when it comes to assignments, I really like assignments, especially for unlocking new weapons and stuff, the challenges. In fact, well, I think they need to explain what you have to do a little bit better. Like, there definitely needs to be more of an explanation, but I say make it harder. Make the challenge extremely difficult to complete. I was able to unlock all the new guns in the first day it was out. I mean, it
Yeah,
was a
me
little bit of
too.
a grind, but I still did it in a day. I want challenges that'll take days, weeks even. I know not everyone likes that, but I think it rewards people who are willing to put in the time to unlock the new guns. It's also a slight way to balance premium, right? Because people complain about premium players getting weapons that no one else gets. Well, make it a challenge for them to unlock it. So not everyone gets the weapons on the same day, It'll be spread out. You have to put in effort to unlock the guns you want. Make a conscious choice of which one of the new guns you want to get first before you move on to the next one. To me, I think that would be a cool idea. Just have harder challenges
What do
for
you got, Flack?
weapons.
I mean, I like them. I don't know about weeks to get done, or that kind of stuff. But in general, no, I like them, and I think most of us are in agreement that we would have liked to have seen more of an end game for the long-term players. I mean, that's the reason we're discussing things like customization and Warbonds and all this other stuff, is because we really don't have a whole lot of stuff to pursue at this point, aside from, I'll just challenge myself to do this, or I'll challenge myself to do that. We've got medals and ribbons, and that adds a little bit to it. But, I like that there are challenges there. I don't think they should be super easy to do.
I just think they should promote more play objective kind of challenges, or play your class role challenges. Getting 18 whatever headshots with MP18 or 20 headshots MP18 doesn't promote anything good on the battlefield. Sure, you're most likely helping your team win, but it's not getting the job, what your kit is about, And I felt like the medic one was good. I believe there were some revives and heals going on in that one. And I felt like, that's awesome. I remember in the first week of the DLC that I was playing, and I was playing the DLC maps, and everybody was trying to unlock all the medic weapons. I was getting rezzed. I was getting healed. It was like, I love playing with these guys.
A week later, nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
But like the guy runs away from you. No, I don't want to die. So
it's like, I already got that gun. See you later.
Yeah. So I would like to see them do that.
I think it'd be neat if they also incorporated stuff with other game modes too. Because like one thing, when I made a video on the headshots, I was remarking that I like these kinds of challenges because they make me play with weapons that I wouldn't normally use. And I found actually using the MP18 optical that I actually liked it. I was like, maybe I'll keep using this. Yeah, Izzy, sorry.
Sorry. Cool.
But it kind of exposes you to other things that maybe you were like, I didn't think I would actually like using that gun. I think it'd be great if they had challenges like win 5 matches of war pigeons, or something along those lines, because there's a lot of game modes out there that a lot of people don't play that are actually pretty awesome. Like team deathmatch is a lot of fun. War pigeons is fun. It's a totally different experience. It's just a suggestion.
I'm sorry. Just the war pigeons. I just kind of watched like a video by a Russian Badger, and he's kind of right. It just turned into shotgun shoot at the pigeon because one of those pellets is gonna hit the sucker.
Yeah.
And there's your whole war pigeons round. I don't know, but I see what you're saying, because I think partly some of the weapons that we had to use to unlock, they were very like rare weapons. Like, who runs around with the slug? Model 10 slug.
I do love the thing.
Awesome. That thing is awesome, but I've totally forgotten how awesome it was until they made me play it again. Mm-hmm. And who even plays the Benet telescopic?
Not the telescopic. Me and Echo. I know Echo loves the Benet. I love the Benet.
But I don't think people do, and people don't know what a laser beam that thing is.
That is, it's a laser beam.
Yeah, I just watched. I've been watching so much Battlefield YouTube. I'm like encyclopedia here. But even X Factor just did a video on just like how good the Benet is. So there's a lot going on that they've kind of looked at probably and seen, like, people aren't playing these things. Let's get them to play it and actually, use it. And maybe that's why they did the MP18 headshot challenge, to get you to play the MP18 optical, because maybe people aren't playing that one. Because if you'd ask me, I'd rather pick the trench. But I don't know. I still think they should have just went, focus on maybe ribbons more. In the past, they focused a lot more on ribbons rather than like certain things. So it would have been nice for them to incorporate the ribbons, get the people to understand that they're getting ribbons for something. Because I think people just see them pop up and they're just like, oh, okay.
I'm kind of in the line with Izzy. I'm we're Battlefield vets, and we like to play Battlefield, and I think DICE should inadvertently leak on YouTube through Flakfire or Jack Frags or somebody that if you reach rank max 50 for that class, it gives you a hidden part of the Phantom program, and the Phantom program gives you a weapon that you can only get doing the Phantom program. So that doesn't put it just for premium people. That puts it for everybody. If you get ranked 50 in that class, it gives you one piece of the Phantom program. So it makes people want to come back to the game. I don't know. That's my thoughts. The longevity. Izzy likes hard things to unlock. 50 ranks in a class. I'm at 38 right now in the sniper, and I've been popping some heads. I'm like, wow, this is taking a long time. So what do you guys feel about that? Phantom program, rank 50.
That's not a bad idea. I'd be all for it.
Flack's like, no way, I'm not gonna get ranked 50. I got a job.
As long as it gives people something to shoot for, then that's fine. I think that will, like you just said, oh, you have a job, yeah, like I'll still probably get rank 50 in it anyway. But for a lot of people, doing something like that really takes it off the table for them, because they're not going to be able to do that. Like I don't even know, like I didn't hit rank 100 in like Hardline or Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3, and I played it a lot. I never got up to that point. So that is one thing that is kind of frustrating. That if you put something behind, like you have to invest this many hours in the game to get it.
Yeah, it is.
That
it is
does
putting
get
off.
frustrating.
I know a lot of people who just gave up on the Phantom program, just the beginning dog tag, because it takes so long. But you know what? My thing was also like, because you inspired me so much, Mambo, about the Warbond system. Would it be so bad to just make those guns purchasable with Warbonds?
Which guns?
For a lot of
The new
Warbonds.
guns.
Yeah,
The new ones?
If it was a lot of Warbonds, okay, then at
Like
least
wipe out your bank of Warbonds. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, just this is a question, thought, something to throw out there. Just because these challenges can become mundane, and they can become tremendous roadblocks for your average player to really enjoy his purchase. Let's face it, they purchase a game and they want to enjoy it, just like we play and we enjoy it. But at the same time, Izzy, I know what you're saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. I guess those are our thoughts on the whole thoughts on challenges and new DLC guns, and hopefully the chat, you guys have been just brimming with questions that we can talk about in the next segment. There's 140 people watching live, so this is your opportunity for any questions that you have that we can answer as a panel. Remember, if you have a question directly to one of us, just put in at one of our names here. If you have a question for the crew, just put at crew. Before we get to the live questions, I will remind everybody that if you do have a question and you're watching in a recording, you can do is email us at the Let's Talk Podcast at gmail.com. Let me make sure I got that correctly. The Let's Talk Podcast at gmail.com. Right. So if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on iTunes. First, we'll start it off with a question we did get in an email. And the email writes from Caldear Alex. So this is hello, dear streamers and crew. So here's my question for the new episode. I want servers, he says, especially on Conquest 64 players with no vehicles and air or land or both, maybe no special classes. Why doesn't there exist such servers yet? No vehicles doesn't mean no horses. Thoughts on it? I sometimes really like to have an infantry only game, as vehicles can be annoying sometimes. My thoughts. So why aren't there these servers?
Can't those be done as private servers? Or are we talking about why doesn't DICE do them as official servers? It's like part of a custom game mode or something. But as far as I know, if you're looking at something like that and you're saying, why aren't there those kind of servers? You can make one and people will play on it. I think DICE needs to work on some stuff regarding populating those servers.
Right.
Those private servers, but you can go out and make one like that. I haven't really kept up with the different custom game modes here lately. But they've had a couple that were no vehicles type of stuff.
Yeah,
But-
private servers I think can disable vehicles.
Yeah, they could do all these things, Alex. But the only problem with that is they will not be populated because Dice does not do a good job populating custom servers. Mainly because they only quick join people into their rule set, and once you change the rule set, understandably so, they do not quick join people in. That's why I still feel like the best option would there be in your server browser, have a tab and big invisible, please put community driven servers and prioritize them, have people favorite them, and the most top favorite ones will be first or something, upvoted, thumbs up, do something, because I'm sure there will be really, really popular servers that many players favorited, and then you can feed those to the top, and then people will have these unique experiences that they're seeking, and it'll be so
I
much more
agree.
fun.
I
That
didn't
or,
renew I rented a server. I didn't renew it. Did you renew yours, Echo?
Man, I spent $100. Don't talk
I
to me.
spent $90 and ouch.
No, what they need to do is add it to quick match, right? Like have a quick match
Yeah.
setting where you can join custom servers, right? You can turn it on and off. Be quick matched into custom servers, yes, no. Have it as just a switch you can flip.
I mean, your idea too last 2 weeks ago when we talked about like if you're quick matching into a server that apparently isn't official, you should just give them a little pop-up like you said, Izzy, and warning, hey, the rules are a little different here. Here's what's changed. Do you still want to go? And then you have the option, yes or no. And then
That works
even
too.
then, you'll have an option to try something completely new you've never tried in a Battlefield game before. And who knows, maybe you like shotgun only
Or pistol only.
or
Yeah.
knife only,
Yeah, that'd work really well too.
And they just need to do a better job going out there to support the community in creating and facilitating these servers. We would pay for them if we get the support for them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Battlefield 3 Aftermath, the scavenger game mode where you get this kills and you get the next weapon. You get these kills, you unlock
That's
the next weapon.
Gunmaster.
Gunmaster.
not-
Yeah.
So we have a question by Medicine Man 740. So Alex, hopefully you liked our response there. It says, Echo Limits and I discussed during the chat session yesterday Ammo 2.0 and the regen of
God.
gadgets, grenades, etc. Battlefield has always been about team-based play, and with the addition of the gadget regen, now I personally feel like you're just going to be left with another typical FPS with no emphasis on being team-based, which is what drew me to Battlefield. I know Echo's thoughts, but just curious about the thoughts for Izzy, Flak, and Mambo. How do you guys feel about Ammo 2.0?
Hate it, hate it, hate it. Get rid of it. Doesn't need to be in the game. It's horrible. Horrible, horrible idea.
No, just give the ability to grab ammo off the backpacks of the support guys.
I'd like that
Like
more than
hardline.
to Ammo 2.0.
I'm going to have to refrain from the debate on Ammo 2.0. I have not had enough time to really figure out all of how it works and all those details yet.
Well, let's go in there now, and I don't want to put you on spot, Flack. You don't have to answer, but I feel like some viewers who are watching the podcast and maybe even live don't know what Ammo 2.0 is. So, Battlefield or Dice, I should say, they're changing the way ammo is resupplied, and that means not ammunition, I should say. It's gadgets and it's grenades. So in order to curb the spam, they are introducing, with the new update, they already introduced the grenades automatically on a timer. So if you throw a grenade and you are nowhere near next to a ammo crate, after a minute, the grenade will pop up out of thin air anyway,
Yeah.
which is a little absurd. But they went in and put it even further. So if you're an assault player and you threw out all your anti-tank grenades, in a minute or so, I mean, the timers are all different. I'm simplifying the whole idea. In a minute or so, they're going to get that anti-tank grenade again. And that's creating like an uproar in the Battlefield community, because us veteran players and myself and, you see Izzy and Mambo kind of share the idea, and Flak, we're not sure where you're at, but for most part, most people do not like the idea. And I'm a little upset with DICE, because even in CTE, people said no, and they still went forward with this idea. And,
Yeah, they're pushing casual more and more and more. It seems like they're continuing to to take away what made Battlefield in the first place, de-emphasizing teamwork and team play. And
I got upset just like everyone is, but once I watched the level cap video explaining that when you respawn, you don't get the same amount of gadgets anymore unless you go see a support player. So you really technically are less effective because you're trying to spam grenades and trying to respawn and grenade again when you die. And I like that they're curbing that idea because I felt like if you die, you come back to life, you already have your 2 grenades as an assault, and you know who knows how many rifle grenades you get as a medic. I think 3, and you get a frag grenade. You just keep throwing those things, and there's just so much spam in the game itself. I feel like this will curb it.
Based on my understanding of that, and I will only say that I haven't really been able to play that much since Ammo 2.0 came out. But I will say it absolutely sucks as an assault player in terms of like trying to take out vehicles.
Vehicles too OP, right?
It's like they were already too OP, and now it's like, oh, instead of dying twice to take out a tank, I have to die like 5 times to do it. That's fair, you know.
Unless you're backed up by a
terrible.
support player, which is probably not going to happen.
You know, and again, like I don't fully understand it yet. I've just noticed that it's like seriously like productivity in terms of actually playing the class of what Assault is designed to do has gotten significantly more difficult.
They should just power down the gadgets, the gadgets like the rifle grenade, the crossbow grenade, the 2 anti-tank grenades. Have them weakened against infantry. I feel like Fort de Vaux is one of those maps where classes abuse their gadgets into like corridors, and they're just throwing constant bombs and everything else. And you know that's one of the things I discussed with Medicine Man, and you know it is a problem. This is one way they're addressing it. I don't know what it will. Let's play and find out. But I would really hope that if DICE makes this change, we all play this game for a month and we say, listen, I'm sorry, you tried. And I hope that if they get that response from the community, that they actually go back on their word, not to like just stick to it just because, you know, we made an executive decision here, you know? I mean, hey, it didn't work. I'm not against trying something new though.
Even though I don't, you know, understand all the details about it, I think, and from what I've read on the, you know, patch notes for CTE and everything, part of the reason Ammo 2.0 was developed was so DICE would have more control mechanically more control over those different aspects in Battlefield 1. So, you know, although we may not like it as it is now, it gives them more options that they can tweak for private servers. It gives them more options that they can tweak for regular game modes and things like that. So I think this might be one of the things where, you know, they introduce this system. We don't really care for it right now. They'll probably do what they always do, which is tweak it to address community feedback, and then, you know, we'll see where we're at. But it's a more mechanical type of change because it gives them more control over things.
GMG Live, a new way of using Warbonds to get boosts for 5% damage boost and accuracy boost.
No,
and all
that's
that.
a Call of Duty feature. I don't want that.
That's a Call of Duty feature?
Not damage boosts, but maybe like a XP boost or a squad boost, something like that.
XP or
We got
squad
squad
boost,
boost already.
okay. Changes to the guns and those abilities, no.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from, and in other games, I would say maybe that's a good idea.
Too OP.
Call of Duty would be one, but for Battlefield, no, I don't like it. I don't like those kinds of things in PvP type of games. Like I've been playing a lot of Mass Effect and whatever, and they have those kinds of boosts for the multiplayer. But then multiplayer is, you know, 4-player co-op, so you're playing against the computer, so it's fine. But in Battlefield, I don't think it would work that well.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with Ammo 2.0. For the most part, and we'll just hopefully have a better understanding what they mean with that whole changes. I don't think I'm too happy, and hopefully they'll change my mind. Any other questions, guys? Remember, if you have a question for the crew while we're live and recording this, all you have to do is put @crew. We can literally talk about anything and everything, and that's what's special about this podcast, rather than a different podcast, is you, the viewer, have an opportunity to actually become a part of the conversation with us, YouTubers and Twitch streamers who constantly love this game, play this game, and we discuss its changes. Maybe you like some of our opinions from the thousands and hundreds of hours that we've played this game, and maybe you yourself have played just as much, so this is an opportunity for you to just chime in. Let's see if Dice can listen. And I don't know about you guys, but I've heard word that they do know about the podcast, and they have heard about some of our ideas. In CTE, Mambo, there's a thing when someone is dead and you spot them, tells them you're going to revive them.
Really?
I have seen that. One of the devs posted it, and it looks amazing. And that is something that looks really, really cool. And if you guys haven't seen what Echo's talking about, it's literally, and like we asked for that kind of stuff. If we could, if we were a medic and we pointed at somebody and we spotted them, we hit the bumper button as a way to say, hey, we're coming, that it would alert that person who was going to skip that revive. And I'm assuming that's what we're gonna see there with that. So, and I saw that, I was really, really excited.
Dude, that was straight from the podcast, off the dome, Mambo B.
Yeah. It takes all of us as a community together to come up with some good ideas. I don't take credit for it. It's stuff that everybody playing puts thoughts in. Energy. It's energy. We all put energy into the podcast. We all put energy into the game that we love, and we come out with something better.
And that's the goal anyway.
That's the goal, why we do the podcast. Do we have another question? Yes, we have. A Sloths18 says, crew, do you think they should nerf the fog, sandstorm, etc.?
Giant Shadow needs more fog.
They removed it, right?
More. I want to be able to swim through it.
I think they need to nerf the sandstorm noise. Makes too much noise. I can't hear anybody sneaking up on me. The wind noise is a little OP at times.
I grew up in a lot of fog. I grew up in a lot of foggy areas. Typically, fog is denser around lakes and stuff like that, and lighter around not water areas. I think the fog should be about 50 feet or 40 feet high, not way up in the clouds. Because if I've got in a plane, I like to play in the planes. I can't see anything if it's foggy.
That makes sense. And it shouldn't be in buildings either. Fog does not go inside buildings like that. That is not how fog works.
Izzy is very much opposed to the fog mechanics.
Okay, I don't like fog.
Battlefield 1.
Who put fog in your house?
Who put fog? He's got a fog machine every time he comes out of his bedroom.
Snoop Dogg is in that house. Snoop Dogg is in there.
All right.
It's a fog party, man.
Oh. I agree. There's definitely some stuff they need to work out, and for some reason I don't know how they coded the game that these fog-esque things go through walls like gas grenades, and I bet smoke grenade. I bet you if you throw a smoke grenade next to a wall, on the other side of the wall there's smoke.
Yep.
Pretty sure.
It clips right through.
Why is it the way it is? Is it hard to code that? Is it something they didn't implement? Because think about it, there's destruction in the wall. So it might be very hard for them to tell the server.
But I don't think it was like that in Battlefield 4, though.
I don't know.
I don't think it was like that in Battlefield 4.
The fog, the smoke for the mortar smoke needs to be better. When we were playing operations on that Verdun map, I was like, okay, guys, run smoke on your mortar. We're going to throw smoke grenades. We're going to get this first objective, right? But we do the smoke mortar, and it's like a dud smoke grenade. Like, that's not smoke. We got destroyed. Okay, try smoke grenades, everybody.
I've never heard of someone using the smoke mortar.
We tried it. All smoke. Everybody smoke. Everything smoke in. It didn't work. Smoke on the mortar sucks.
They need to fix that. Even in Battlefield 4, incendiary grenades went through walls. I used to cheese with them and be like, "Hey, check it out, guys! You know, put one next to a wall, and the other guys would be burning." And they're like, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and don't take this with a grain of salt. I did see one of the devs comment on that particular issue, and said that they are aware of it, they are working on it, but it's going to be a while.
It's probably really hard to figure out.
They have to go in and, I'm not a dev, so I don't understand the stuff. I just get to sit here and critique things that are probably really difficult to repair.
Yeah.
And they probably throw like darts at a dartboard with my face on it at the end of the day. But I do recall one of them. I don't remember which one, and maybe I'm hallucinating. I don't know. But they said that they have plans to work on that. But it takes a lot of time because they have to go in, and do like basically each of those walls and buildings like one by one.
Wow.
Apparently, so it's. They're aware of it. That's all I can
That's
say.
a huge undertaking if that's true. Let's move on to Steel's question. Steel 1414 asks the crew, do you think spot flares are underused in this game? They provide a significant advantage, especially to the new attacking ops.
There needs to be a way to counter them.
Yes.
For the love of God, let me counter them. Throw smoke grenades on it, stomp on it, something. Let me take it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, and it kind of shows that we have a pretty great community in terms of they are smart. They learn things that as I've been playing it, you run into them a lot more, I think, now than you did at first. Like when people first started playing the game, like not a lot of people used spotting flares, and now they're around all the time. And I 100% agree with Izzy that there needs to be a counter for it. I am totally with throwing a smoke grenade on it because that would add more value to actually carrying the smoke grenade over a frag grenade or an anti-tank grenade or something like that. I think that would be the perfect counter to it.
Canteen, pour water on that shit.
Pour water on it, but that would be such a gadget. Like only use is that.
Use your Warbonds to buy more water.
Maybe you get some health back. We just went into the explicit territory too, ladies and gentlemen.
I had a viewer point out that if you shoot a flare in an area, it not only marks the enemy, it also marks your teammates, whoever's in the flare radius. Are you aware of this?
I haven't heard of that.
What?
Yeah, if you shoot a flare in an area, like you're protecting a flag or you're trying to capture a flag, not only does it mark them, it marks you as well. I'm like, I don't know about that.
I don't think it does that.
I don't think so either, but somebody brought that up. I was like, whoa, my mind just went boo. What?
I hope it doesn't, because that's really silly.
I don't think that's the case, but now I know what I'm going to do after this is over.
Check it out.
I'm going to go figure that out, but no, that's new to me if that's the case.
Well, that's
I know that smoke
flare,
grenades
right?
will hide you from spotting flares, but
they won't counteract the flare itself.
No.
We've talked about this, and there's an issue with the whole like certain gadgets are a no-brainer in this game, and the spotting flare is definitely one of them. Nobody uses the what's the other flare you can do?
The flash.
The flash.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that once or twice, and I was like, "What's that?" And then I looked into the sun, and my eyes burned.
It's actually kind of useful in Rush if it's like inside one of the buildings. It can counter snipers pretty well by windows.
I'm still hoping it'll become more useful if we get an underground map at some point. That's still my hope.
Like a cave map?
It's a blinding flare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be able to use it on Verdun in the fort for operations. I don't know.
You need smoke in that one. I just toss smoke. That's how I won that one. You just toss smoke like crazy everywhere. And then, you get all the nubs. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good question. I mean, they are kind of OP, and we feel the same way. Let's see if we can fish out another question that was in there. Fog equals gas mechanics. Good one. Hold on. I think we had another question there.
Battlefield 1.
Big says they should make out of bounds closer to flag until capture so snipers can't sit back so far. Look, I feel I understand that some people want to just play as a sniper and just want to be out there in the boonies. But you know, let them play that way. They just won't get a lot of points for doing it.
Right.
And for the most part, this Battlefield does that the best, where they reward people not doing that. You know, playing the objective. And someone before said some noob, noob being a medic, reviving, healing people, and maybe staying in the cap zones all the time, getting top of the leaderboard because he did all these things. But he did them playing the objective, making sure his team's on point. I don't see anything wrong with that. Guys, remember, if you have a question, just pop it over in the chat and make sure you do the @ so we know exactly which question it would be. But how do you guys feel about that? Big was talking about moving the zones closer so there's not a lot of snipers.
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that I don't feel like on front lines they should be able to go behind the 2 objectives back from the current objective. I mean, I understand strategy. You want to start moving the squad before your teammates are capturing a flag to help push the front line faster or whatnot. But to go too far behind enemy lines, it's almost not productive, in my opinion. It's kind of cheesy. Yeah. What do you think, Flak?
I don't know if I have a real significant opinion on that. Snipers to me in Battlefield 1 generally are not problems on a lot of the maps. The only ones that I really get frustrated with them on are Sinai and Giant Shadow, and those are the ones that are really a pain in the butt. I haven't spent much time playing Operations on the new DLC, but I'm sure that they can be obnoxious at times. But at the same point, we mentioned smoke grenades. There are ways to counter them. So just adjust to what you're facing in game is about the only thing I can say to that.
Yeah. Yeah, those crazy mortar trucks that like to get up on the back of the hill and just rain down. Oh,
Right.
man.
Ugh.
I mean, Sir Viking Monkey's kind of right. I mean, those are a bigger problem than the snipers. You just artillery truck far away, and that's all you ever do.
What they need to do is make it easier to counter vehicles. It's just too hard to take them out at the moment, especially with quick repair and internal repair. I mean, it's too hard to take them out, and vehicles have too many ways to repair themselves too quickly.
I don't know where I've heard this idea, but basically have the way points are assigned have a radius effect. The closer you are to the objective, the more points you get per kill. And if you're out in the boonies, you get less points for it. But I don't know how I feel about that.
You should get negative kills or negative
points.
It gives you a death.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna get you started on this, but I did die somehow without being out of bounds on a live stream, and it was really crazy. I put it on Twitter.
What?
It was funny. I was not out of bounds. It's technically I was driving the new tank, and my front gunner was out of bounds while I was repping, and then he was just shooting left and right. It was Joe Mike, and he was shooting left and right, trying to tell me he wasn't mic'd up with me. I know a guy named Joe Mike has no mic, but and then he was shooting.
The irony.
Well, he was shooting, trying to tell me, and then basically because he deserted, everyone in the tank deserted, and it blew us up.
What?
It was crazy.
Wow.
That'll happen in the Behemoth too, so don't do that.
Oh no, I've seen that done before. We've seen it in the capture event. Do you remember that?
We did. That was
in
awful.
the capture event.
Somebody drove it out of bounds, and it just exploded. Everybody died. And that Behemoth was gone like five seconds after they got it, because
you hear 10 people scream all at once.
Yeah, right. We were in a room of 64 people playing, like YouTubers, Twitch streamers. I mean, there were like people from like IGN and stuff playing the DLC. And then, like you said, like 10 people got up and said, "What gives?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet there's gonna be a YouTuber who's gonna make a troll video. Look what I did to all the YouTubers. You know? I didn't find one. Too funny. Do we have another question before we stop? It says, at Ecolimits, what do you guys think of the operations at this point? I've gotten to the point where I only play Kaiserschlag and Verdun. Is that just me? And this is a question from Blorger, and it will probably be our last question for the podcast. So, thoughts on how the operations rolling out for DLC, or in general?
I think those are clearly the best two operations. I've never known anybody, if they had a choice to pick, any of the operations, or I forget what the one is with the Turkish and Foul Fortress or whatever. Like nobody ever won. Like
Well,
nobody picks
I
that
love
one.
Oil of Empires.
No,
It's
It's
hard
got
to attack.
Suez. Flak, me and you love Suez.
I
You do love it.
do, but you know what? I'm totally with him on that. That Kaiserschlacht and the Devil's Anvil are the only two that I'm really like. Yes, those are a lot of fun to play.
Oil might need another battalion. It is 3 maps. It's tough to beat in 3
Yeah,
maps.
it is. It is
Might
really,
need
really
one
hard.
more battalion.
Yeah. I like
Mambo?
the operations in the new map. The new, what is it, Soissons with the red flowers and stuff, the poppies or whatever, all over the
Yeah, it's a beautiful map,
operations.
man.
Really fun on those maps. I like the fact that you get planes on that operations. I like flying, so yeah, it's good.
How do you feel
Operations.
about all the tanks that they get? They get like 6 tanks
I
on
hate
that
it.
one.
Yeah, that's a little OP.
I hate it. It's ridiculous. Infantry just gets
Fix ammo
obliterated.
2.0, and then we can talk about all those tanks.
Yeah, that might be really hard to take out.
I need my AT grenades back.
Oh,
Like,
the
quickly.
answer for more OP, we'll just counter with more OP. No, that doesn't fix the problem.
Flak, I run support. I'll spawn and I'll just keep giving you ammo.
I don't know how this is gonna work from PS4 to Xbox though.
I have an
It's
Xbox.
gonna be some serious range on that.
We're
ammo
waiting on the
box.
Scorpio, bro. We're waiting on the Scorpio.
As on the side note, Scorpio's gonna be like $700. Did you guys hear about that?
I did
Damn.
not hear about that,
Jeez.
but I'm
What?
getting it. That's fine.
What?
I got a 1070. I got a 1070 in my laptop right here. I'm good.
That seems a little too pricey. They're gonna price themselves out,
I think
Yeah.
so. Crazy.
I didn't hear that, but wow.
especially with the Pro only being 500.
Well,
No, the
give
Pro's
it time.
400.
Oh,
Pro's-
400. All right,
Yeah.
not bad. Yeah,
Pro's
it's even
even
cheaper
cheaper
than
than
I
that.
thought.
As long as it doesn't come with Connect.
Oh no, they scrapped
that.
that idea. As fast as Sony scrapped the Move. You know the Move? They just
the what?
The,
what?
I like
the
the
what?
move. I thought it was fun.
he's laughing. All right. With that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast because I think we're gonna close off the questions for this time. Just as always, if you did enjoy it, make sure you rate us on iTunes. If you're watching there, if you're watching on YouTube, give these fellas a thumbs up, right? And if you're watching here live, you can check out myself, Mambo, and just give us the follow on there. Really appreciate everybody being here, giving us thoughts and ideas, and giving the developers something to think about, good ideas. And I don't know, I mean, I'd like to tell, I think that medic idea came from this podcast. Who knows? Maybe they were one step ahead of us, but
We're claiming it. Whatever.
We're claiming that one. That's a victory for the podcast. As always, if you enjoyed it, you can follow all our channels and subscribe to our various channels. We will do the outros one at a time, but I wanted to mention that if you do happen to watch on a recording, you send us your thoughts at the Let's Talk Podcast at gmail.com, and we will begin our chat sessions. We usually do like a 1 hour. We each come up with topics and half hours of discussion with the live audience. And yeah, we'll incorporate those emails as well. So Alex, thank you for writing in this week. As always, we'll be back in 2 weeks, guys, because we do every 2 weeks this podcast. You can also go look up the website. It's called the Let's Talk Podcast.com. It's a whole website that's detailing all about us and the podcast. You can find all the episodes, whether you're watching it with video, where you can see all our faces, or you're just listening to the audio only version. All those things and files are there. You can download them from iTunes, and you can also watch on YouTube. So I'm going to sign off, starting with Izzy.
Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. If you want to check out my channel, it's youtube.com/IzzyGoneCrazy.
Mambo.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in. Mambo B, Gaming, Laughs, and More on Twitch TV.
And Flak.
Yeah, thanks guys for being here. It was a fun podcast and everything. So if you guys are interested in Battlefield 1 history type videos, you can check me out, youtube.com/Flakfire Gaming.
And I was your host, Echo Limits, on Twitch TV/Echo Limits. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time.
Later.